It's time to break down the Buffalo Bills Week 14 opponent, the challenges they present, and what the Bills need to do to deal with them today on Locked On Bills.
You are Locked On Bills, your daily Buffalo Bills podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Bills Mafia? It's Joe Marino, author of Go Bills and Buffalo's Run, also the co-host of the Locked On NFL Scouting podcast, and I'm your host of Locked On Bills. Want to thank you for making Locked On Bills your first listen every day, and a big welcome and shout out to our everydayers. You know who you are. Those of you who never miss a single episode, I appreciate y'all being here very, very much. I'd also like to invite you to subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Just visit FanDuel.com to get started. Well, folks, welcome in. It's time to get ready for Week 14, where the Bills are on the road to face the Los Angeles Rams. The game will be played on Sunday, December 8th at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. The game will be broadcasted on Fox. Kevin Burkhardt is on the play-by-play. Raiders minority owner Tom Brady is the game analyst. Aaron Andrews and Tom Rinaldi are your sideline reporters. This will be the 15th all-time meeting between the Bills and Rams, and the Bills hold an all-time record of 9-5. And the Bills have done well, especially lately against the Rams. They've won 3 in a row, 5 of the last 6, and 8 of the last 10. Under Sean McDermott, the Bills are 2-0 against the Rams and Sean McVay. The last meeting, of course, the season opener in 2022, where the Rams hung their Super Bowl banner, but the Bills beat them 31-10. The Bills enter this game at 10-2. The first-placed team, they've clinched the AFC East. There's no reason for me to say they're number one. They've already won the division. They're number 2 currently in the AFC playoff field. The Rams are 6-6, second in the NFC West. They're number 10 in the NFC playoff field. So they're knocking on the door of not only the division, because that NFC West is so tight and jumbled, but they're trying to get a wild card spot if they can't win the division. So they got a lot to play for here. The Rams started the year at 1-4, and then they had their bye week, and out of the bye week, they've been 5-2 since. So they've been playing a lot better football. They've gotten healthy, which matters a lot. Well, at both their offensive line and, of course, their wide receivers, Kupp and Puka Nacua. 6 wins have come against the 49ers, Raiders, Vikings, Seahawks, Patriots, and Saints. Their 6 losses to the Lions, Cardinals, Bears, Packers, Dolphins, and Eagles. Head coach of the Rams, Sean McVay, 38 years old. He's in his 8th season. That's crazy, right? He's still so young, and he's already coached so much. 8th season as the Rams head coach. 76-51 career record to this point. In the 7 seasons that have already happened, they've been to the playoffs 5 times under Sean McVay, have a playoff record of 7-4. They've been to the Super Bowl twice and, of course, won it back in 2021. Quarterback for the Rams is Matthew Stafford, 36 years old, 6'3", 214 pounds, was a first-round pick, number 1 overall in 2009 out of Georgia by the Detroit Lions, and, of course, was the starting quarterback in Detroit for a long time, then traded to the Rams in 2021 or going into the 2021 season and won the Super Bowl the first year with L.A. His record in Detroit, 74-90-1. His record in L.A. is 30-23. So far this season, he's completing 66% of his passes, 249 passing yards per game, 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and a passer rating of 94.2. Let's look at his advanced metrics this season. So far, he's at minus 0.01 EPA per dropback, so expected points added per dropback. That's 18th in the NFL. 10.5% of his throws are deep, 20 yards or more down the field. That's 13th in terms of frequency. On those deep throws, he's 19 of 49 for 572 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Yards after catch, 46% of his yards come after the catch. That's not very many. That's 26th in the NFL. He goes to his first read 70% of the time. That's 23rd. Average time to throw is 2.51 seconds. That's 13th. That's right about where Josh Allen is. I think Josh is right at 2.54. So similar average time to throw. He throws a catchable pass 74% of the time. That's 20th in the league. He's off target with his throws on 19% of dropbacks. That's 23rd. So a fair amount of off target throws. Turnover worthy throws 2.9% of the time. That's 18th. Drop rate 3.4%. That's 9th. They're not dropping a ton of passes. He's not pressured very much. Only 27% of dropbacks does he face pressure. That's 6th best in the NFL. Play action, they do it a ton. 30% play action, 6th highest in the NFL. And he's 2nd in EPA per dropback with play action. So very good at play action, and they do it a lot. Screens, not a whole lot of that. 6.3% of passes are screens. That's 29th in the NFL. So Matthew Stafford, Hall of Fame quarterback, in my opinion, one of the best in the NFL. Obviously, this is late stage Matthew Stafford, but he's still got big-time arm talent. He's very smart. He's got a lot of different clubs in the bag. He'll throw the no-look passes. He's got different arm slots. This guy can really do what he wants with the football in terms of throwing it. Physically gifted. And Stafford is known to really just attack matchups that he likes. You know, he targeted Cooper Kupp 22 times in a game earlier this season. If there's something he likes, he's going to go after it over and over and over and over. And I think when you look at his metrics this season, you have to keep in mind that this passing game in terms of the receivers, it's about Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Kupp missed 4 games. Nacua missed 5. And so it's been a bit of a process to kind of get everything clicking. But like I said, big-time arm talent. And he's not really running the ball. Only 1 rushing attempt in the last 5 games. So I don't know that you could sleep on that. But it doesn't appear that he has much of an appetite for taking off here lately. So Bill's got to face a good quarterback and a good head coach here in Stafford and McVay on the road. All right, coming up here in just a second, I'm going to break down this offense even more. A lot to get into with their rushing offense and their O-line, their skill players, and, of course, what the keys are for the Bills defensively against this Rams offense. Folks, be sure to stick with me. Nothing delivers comfort and joy like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. It's guaranteed perfection in every single bite, and right now, you can save on unforgettable gifts with 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, score an extra $30 off with promo code NFL. With 5 generations of experience, they consistently deliver the world's best steak experience, and the gifting experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to deliver the perfect gift with thoughtfully curated gift packages featuring gourmet favorites. From legendary steaks to mouth-watering desserts and more, save 50% off site-wide for a limited time at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with promo code NFL. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $30 off with promo code NFL. Minimum purchase may apply. And folks, I recently got a box of Omaha Steaks. It's phenomenal. We've had the burgers. We've had the filet mignon. They sent some potato wedges that we put in the oven. Those were so good, really crispy, really delicious. So check it out. I mean, I'll tell you this. I get a lot of gifts that I don't really enjoy, but if you gave me a box of steaks and meats, boy, that's going to get me excited. So, nobody needs another, screwdriver or pocket knife. What they want is a box of meat. Go to omahasteaks.com. It's a heck of a deal. Speaking of good gifts, do you struggle to find the perfect gift during the holiday? Well, if you do, maybe, your love language isn't gift giving. You might overthink things. You might wind up with something disappointing or maybe nothing at all. We've got the perfect gift for you. That's the Skylight Frame. It's a touchstone digital photo frame that your entire family will love. You can upload thousands of photos with your phone and watch them appear on seconds. Straight from your phone. It's incredible from anywhere. It only takes 1 tap on your phone to send new photos to a frame across the country. It's the fastest and easiest way to keep loved ones in the loop. they'll feel so much more connected to you. And the touchscreen is a game changer. You can swipe through the photos. You can tap to see the new photos. You can also tap the heart button to say thank you to the sender if you really like a picture. We've got one on our counter. It looks beautiful in our home. The photos are displayed in HD resolution, so you could choose from 5 different frame options as well. We got one for my mother-in-law last year. She loves it. It's at her house. We send pictures of the kids all the time. It's a great gift. So check it out. We got a deal for you, a special limited time offer for our listeners. You can get $20 off your purchase at skylightframe.com/NFL. That's SKYLIGHTFRAME.com/NFL. Get $20 off your purchase now at skylightframe.com/NFL. Let's talk more about this Rams offense. That is, the coordinator is Mike LaFleur. We know this is Sean McVay's offense. He's the play caller. Metrically, kind of middle of the pack this year. They're scoring 21 points per game. That's 20th in the NFL. Very pass heavy, 60% pass. That's 8th most in the league. 40% run. That's 25th. 13th in EPA per play on offense. 16th in EPA per pass. 15th in EPA per rush. Third down's not working well. 33% conversion rate on third down. That's 30th. 54% scoring touchdowns in the red zone. That is 19th. Let's talk personnel. We'll start with the wide receivers because it's about these two dudes, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. That's who they throw the ball to. We'll get into it a little bit more, but this offense is built around those two receivers. And Cooper Kupp, really, really good route runner, body control, hands, pretty good after the catch. Not a super explosive guy. You know, good frame, sturdy frame, but not a guy that's really going to stretch the field with athleticism, but a crafty player that really thrives from the slot. And then Puka Nacua, a little bit more of an X receiver that you certainly can serve as a power slot. Good route runner, good body control, good hands, physical, firm type player. Again, not an explosive guy. So that's what's interesting. These are more crafty receivers than explosive, dynamic, going to run away from people. But they can get open for sure, and they got really, really good hands, and they're very physical, and they are both pretty talented with the ball in their hands. Not like Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill with the ball in their hands, but physical and decisive and will lower their shoulder and really challenge you to, come and wrap up and have good technique. So they're going to throw the ball to those two guys over and over and over and over and over. That's what they do. A couple other receivers they'll involve. Demarcus Robinson, who's like your classic 4th NFL receiver that's got size, a little bit of speed, bigger bodied guy, but not a true volume player, has been in the league for a long time. Tutu Atwell, they drafted this guy in the second round a few years ago. Slow start to his career, but this is the take the roof, take the top off the defense type player. Now, he's really small. You can fit him in your pocket, but boy, he can run. Really, really explosive. This is the field stretcher in this offense. So if they're going to dial up some deep stuff, they're probably going to look to get the ball to him and really stress your ability to carry him vertically. And then Tyler Johnson, also another just kind of built in the same mold. Good size, powerful, will really be firm at the catch point, strong hands, but not super dynamic athletically. And all these guys block, right? That's a hallmark of a Sean McVay offense. It's 11 personnel and everybody blocks. It's the tight condensed formations, not a lot of spread. They're going to really ask their receivers to block quite a bit. So that's a hallmark of what this scheme is about. At tight end, Tyler Higbee would be their typical starter. He's injured all the time. So Colby Parkinson, a free agent acquisition that they had this past offseason, they gave him a decent contract to come in here and provide them with a little something. He's been more of a depth player throughout his career. He's got some size to him. He's got some receiving upside, but he's never been much of a volume player to this point in his NFL career. Davis Allen might get some run here. He drafted him out of Clemson a couple of years ago. And there's always been an athletic ceiling with Davis Allen that's appealing, but again, the production really hasn't been there. But I'm curious to see, when they start to really unleash him. I've watched the Rams a few times this year, and it feels like from time to time they do prioritize getting the ball to Davis Allen or giving him some chances to catch a football. So I think you got to be mindful of those two tight ends. At running back, Kyren Williams is the guy, right? This is the definition of a bell cow back. He touches the ball a ton. And the backup is Blake Corum, a third-round pick out of Michigan this past year. But it's really about Kyren Williams, who's a unique player. I mean, for a bell cow back, he's 5'9", 194 pounds, so he's not very big. He's not very dense. Runs 4.65, and it's for him, it's about vision and toughness. Really decisive physical runner that sees the field well, but not a guy that's going to really hit a home run at all. Right? He doesn't really have breakaway speed. A very small percentage of his runs are the explosive variety where he's ripping off 10, 15 yards or more. But he's a very just consistent, I would say almost a little bit like, I don't want to say like Kareem Hunt, but that's type of back where it's, nothing super physical, nothing super explosive, but has a good feel for space and how to be consistently productive, getting profits as a running back, and they give them the ball a ton. When it comes to the order of weapons in the passing game, like I said, it's Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, and I think these numbers will really tell the story. So Kupp leads this team with 83 targets. Nacua is second with 61 targets. They've missed time. Kupp's only played in 8 games. Nacua's played in 7. They're still the leading target getters on this team, and everyone else has played 12 games. Demarcus Robinson, who's played in 12 games, is third on the team in targets with 53. 30 behind Cooper Kupp. So, I mean, very clear what they're going to do with the football. Tutu Atwell has 47 targets. Colby Parkinson has 40. Tyler Johnson has 34. Kyren Williams has 32. So, yeah, they've got some ancillary pieces, but make no mistake about it. This passing game is about Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. This rushing offense is about Kyren Williams. I think Blake Corum has like 30 rushes so far this year. It's about Kyren Williams. Offensive line-wise, the left tackle is Alaric Jackson. I think he's a serviceable starter at left tackle, particularly in this scheme. Their left guard is Steve Avila, second-round pick last year out of TCU. Really, really physical player. Was injured a bit this season, but we saw what he could do as a rookie, and he's got a lot of power. Their center is Bo Limmer, a rookie out of Arkansas. They had signed Jonah Jackson, but injuries have been an issue there. Bo Limmer's been a good-looking young rookie player out of Arkansas that, if you remember some of the pre-draft conversations that we had, he was a player that I was hoping the Bills would potentially draft and get in the pipeline for development. Kevin Dotson's their best offensive lineman, their right guard. They got him from the Steelers a few years ago. He's really emerged as a high-quality guard. They paid him a ton of money to stay. So handsomely paid and very, very effective. He's going to bring a lot of power in the run game, and Ed Oliver's going to have to anchor against him. The right tackle is Rob Havenstein. Feels like he's been there for a long time. A stalwart for them at right tackle. Good football player. I don't know that he's an elite player, but very, very consistent and has been reliable for them as their right tackle for a long time. So what are my keys for the Bills on defense against this offense? Well, it's Kupp and Nacua, right? That's who they're going to throw the ball to. And so you've got to be ready for those matchups. And I think Rasul Douglas and Christian Benford and Taron Johnson actually match up quite well against those guys. And you hear me say this quite a bit. When it comes to receivers against the Bills, it's not necessarily the 6'2", 210, crafty, physical receivers that get me super concerned. I get concerned about the 5'10", 190, 4.3 speed where it's just an athletic mismatch. I think these are reasonable players for the Bills to be able to match up with. So Kupp and Nacua, they're going to throw it to him. You got to have, your corner's going to have to deal with that. They're going to run play action a ton, 30% play action. And Matthew Stafford is second in EPA per dropback with play action. So you got to be sound with your coverage. You can't be biting on play fakes and vacating space that you're responsible for. So it's going to be a big game here for the second level of the Bills defense to not get sucked up into the run fit and allow for easy completions over their head. So it's going to be important to take care of that. And then number 3 is get ready for between the tackles running, condensed formations, 11 personnel, and them relying on some powerful players on this interior offensive line to achieve that. And so when I think about this game, always for me, defense starts with the front. I believe in that firmly, but I think the success of the Bills defense in this game is going to come down to their corners. Rasul Douglas, Christian Benford, Taron Johnson. How do they match up with these receivers? And of course, they're going to have to tackle. They're going to have to get off blocks and tackle. It's going to be an important game. And the good news is that's what they do. I think it's a good game for them to be stressed in the ways that they're best. But they're still talking about great coach, great quarterback, and two really good receivers. So, yeah, it's Ed Oliver and Greg Rousseau and Milano and Bernard. All those guys are going to matter. But these corners, Johnson, Benford, Douglas, I think this is a big game for them to ball out and be physical against the run and meet the moment in coverage against some really good wide receivers. All right, we're going to talk Rams defense against the Bills offense on the other side of it. Folks, be sure to stick with me. Hey, Locked On Bills fans, I know you're like me and your holiday shopping list is, well, let's say far from complete. Well, if that's the case, I got the perfect gift for the passionate sports fan in your life. Perhaps you've heard of it, the Ice Shaker. It's now officially licensed with the NFL, NHL, NBA, NCAA, and Major League Baseball. It will make the perfect gift. It's created by and used by the Gronkowski brothers. Ice Shakers has sold over 1 million bottles. They've changed the game with the workout bottles, which is what I have in my hand right now. And this is the gift you've been looking for. Go to iceshaker.com. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at checkout. That'll save 25% off your order. This thing is awesome. Like, look at it. The detail is phenomenal. So many cool features to it. It's sturdy, stainless, kitchen grade stainless steel. It's not going to stink, right? You're not going to put coffee in this or put Gatorade in this and it's going to stink. It smells good. It's not going to become weird. That happens. You know what I'm talking about. You've had a bottle like that. And the patented twist-in agitator breaks up the powders. So if you want to mix a protein powder in there and shake it up, it's not going to be clanking like crazy. It's a normal, nice, quiet shake to it. And I'm that guy. Like when I go to the sauna at the gym, I take my ice shaker and I can shake up my protein powder and it's not going to be a problem. But with my other protein shakers, it's gross, right? I'm just clanking that thing left and right. Everybody knows that I'm in there. It's annoying. So you can also use this. It's great for making mixed drinks right at the tailgate. Look at the detail. This thing is awesome. Like, it's a super high quality. It's got the rubber bottom and the handle right there. They figured it out. They figured out how to make one of these amazing bottles. So check it out. Check it out. We've got a deal for you here. You can get your team branded bottles. Get this Bills one. It's unbelievable. Get this for the Bills fan in your life at iceshaker.com and use code LOCKEDONNFL for 25% off your order. Ice Shakers, show your support for your teams with the best branded workout bottles on the market. Ice Shakers. Folks, get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5. You get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Maybe you want to get in on some of this action for the Bills-Rams game. The Bills are 3.5-point favorites in LA, and that's come down a little bit. It was at 4.5. It's come down to 3.5. Maybe you think the Bills cover that. Well, get in on the action. Also, the over-under is at 49.5. A little high for my liking. I'll be surprised if that over hits. I think the Bills are going to get 30 points, but will the Rams get to 20? I don't know. If you like that, check it out. You can parlay those two things together and win some cash. So never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, let's talk about this Rams defense that is coordinated by Chris Shula. He is the grandson of Don Shula, 38 years old. He's been with the Rams for a long time, ever since McVay got there in 2017. He, of course, replaces Raheem Morris, who was hired to be the head coach of the Falcons. And he started off 2 years as the assistant linebackers coach, 3 years as the linebackers coach. Then he was the defensive backs coach and passing game coordinator. Then he was the linebackers coach and pass rush coordinator. And now he's the defensive coordinator. So far this year, they're giving up 24 points per game. That's 21st in the league. They're 25th in EPA per play, 24th in EPA per pass, 23rd in EPA per rush. They give up a third down conversion 40% of the time. That's 19th. 47% allowing touchdowns in the red zone. That's pretty good. 6th in the NFL. They don't blitz that much. 16th in blitz rate at 26%. They don't get that many sacks. 16th in sack rate at 6.8%. But what they do get is a ton of pressure. Number 1 pressure rate in the NFL at 40%. So a high pressure defense here. Let's talk personnel. Their edge rushers, they got some good young players here. Jared Verse, their first-round pick, probably going to be the defensive rookie of the year. He's top 5 in the league in pressures this year and brings a lot of power. He's a good player, a really good player that is on one of those trajectories to be, one of the upper echelon edge rushers in the league. Byron Young, 3rd-round pick recently, brings a lot of speed. He's got 4.4 speed at like 250 pounds. And he's a nice complementary piece to this rush plan. And then Michael Hoyt, this is a really unique player. He's like 310 pounds, but he moves really, really well and plays on the edge. And they just got 3 really unique players that can get after the quarterback off the edge. So a lot to deal with there. We got some good interior players as well. Kobe Turner, 3rd-round pick out of Wake Forest last year that, had a really, really good rookie season. He's validated that in year 2 with his ability to be disruptive. And then their 2nd-round pick, Braden Fisk, it looks really good as well. Penetration style player that gives a lot as a gap shooter and as a pass rusher. So a ton of good young players here that they will unleash, and they get a lot of pressure. These guys really have a lot of juice, a lot of athleticism across all of these players. Now, there's some size issues here, and they struggle against the run. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but gap shooters, they got some good pressure looks that they scheme up to get free runners, and they're a lot to deal with. At linebacker, it's Christian Roseboom and Omar Spates. Both these guys are undrafted. Roseboom was undrafted. I think he was actually signed off the Chiefs practice squad, and has really kind of been around for the last 4 years for the Rams, getting a chance to spot start and play a decent amount over the last couple of seasons. He's one of their guys. And then Omar Spates, who's a current undrafted rookie out of LSU, has started really the last 4 weeks and played well. And we'll see if that continues against the Bills. But 2 young linebackers, they're not big guys. They're 225, 230 in that range. Don't have a ton of pedigree, but the Rams have just done a good job of developing players. I think the Rams are one of the best player development teams in the NFL. They kind of had to be based on where they loaded up to go all in and win the Super Bowl. And, they traded away a lot of draft capital to do that. And they've had to make it work by players like this coming through the pipeline and developing them and getting production out of them. And they've done a pretty good job of that. At corner, Kobe Durant, 2022 4th-round pick. Not a very big guy, not super athletic, but has become a starter for them. I think he's serviceable. Demarius Williams is kind of like the veteran of the secondary. You remember him with the Jaguars, and he was on the Rams previously. Got some man coverage ability. Quentin Lake is their slot player, 2022 6th-round pick. Good tackler, sort of, but not necessarily a guy that can mirror and match with a ton of consistency. He's probably a guy that you can get some production on. And then at safety, Cameron Curl, they signed him in free agency from Washington. Good physical safety, doesn't make a ton of plays on the ball. And then Cam Kitchens is their 3rd-round pick this year out of Miami, and he starts in that secondary as well. So they've drafted their defense basically in recent years, minus like Demarius Williams. Everyone else has been a draft pick that they've assembled. They're very young. They make mistakes. They struggle to tackle. They don't defend the run very well, but they fly around and they can get pressure. That's what they do. So what are my keys for this Bills offense against this Rams defense? Number 1, run the ball. This Rams run defense has got several times this year. Give up 144 rushing yards per game. Their EPA metrics are not good. They're 23rd in EPA per rush. The Eagles got them for 314 yards. The Saints last week got 143. Cardinals got 231 on them. Lions got 163 yards on them. Run the ball on these dudes. They're quick and they're explosive, but there's not as much in the way of firm anchors on this front. So get after them. They're a bad tackling defense. Run the ball on these dudes. Number 2 is you want to involve your slots and running backs in the passing game. This is the worst tackling defense in the NFL. They're dead last in EPA per pass when targeting running backs. They're 28th in EPA per play when targeting slots. Well, Khalil Shakir, James Cook, Ty Johnson, Ray Davis. You want to put Keon in the slot. You can work these matchups, but it's a good game to target those players and get the quick passing game going, get the screen game going, and dare a bad tackling defense to tackle. That should be a big part of this. The Bills are very good yards after catch team. Like, do the things that you do, and they work well against this defense. And then play action. The Bills, surprisingly, Josh Allen over the last 4 weeks, this is not a hyperbolic. He's legitimately been terrible with play action. The metrics, any meaningful metric of quarterback play when it comes to play action will have Josh Allen either last or second last in the NFL in play action passing over the last 4 weeks. It's crazy because he's been an elite play action passer. But the last 4 weeks or the last 4 games for him have been dreadful with play action. Well, good chance for that to wake up against this defense that is 29th in EPA per play action pass against them. So good week to get that going again here. So run the ball, marry your run and pass concepts, get the play action going, throw the ball to your slots and receivers, your slot receivers and your running backs, and dare these guys to tackle. I think it's a pretty good recipe. Special teams wise, they got a rookie kicker in Josh Carty, 6th-round pick out of Stanford. He's 24 of 26 on extra points, 16 of 21 on field goals. Their punter is Ethan Evans, second-year punter out of Wingate. Shout out Wingate. My brother went there, was a 3-year team captain for Joe Reich for the Wingate Bulldogs. I also went to Wingate, but I didn't play football. My sister went to Wingate as well. So we got to shout out Ethan Evans here. Draft pick that's doing quite well. A really unique punter with his motion and how he's able to kind of get that ball to turn over. Watch him punt. You'll see some cool stuff. The returner is Xavier Smith, second-year player out of Florida A&M. He was an undrafted free agent, 5'10", 174 pounds, runs 4.48. And his metrics have been really pedestrian, even in college as a returner, but this is the return guy, especially for punts. Now, when it comes to kicks, it's been Xavier Smith, Blake Corum, and Jordan Whittington. They all have 6 returns. So I'm not sure who they're going to go with in this game. I'm not sure the Bills are going to have much of an appetite for covering kicks. So we'll see if they have any opportunities to do that. So you have it. That's the Rams. A team that's playing a lot better lately. McVay, Stafford, Nacua, Kupp, young players in that front 7. A defense that has had a lot of challenges. Some good talent on the offensive line. It'll be interesting test here for the Bills going out west. First road game in a while. When you think about the Bills played at home against the 49ers, they had the bye week, they had the Chiefs. So they haven't had a road game since November 10th. So it's going to be the first one in about a month here. And then they get to face the Lions next week on the road before back at home for 2 against the Patriots and Jets. So Bills want to be the 1 seed, go take care of your business, and then go Chargers, right? Chargers, Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Hopefully the good fortunes of the Chiefs can finally wear off in that one. All right, folks, that's it for today. We have one more conversation coming your way. Of course, my final thoughts. We'll talk to Dr. Kyle Trimble of Banged Up Bills about the injuries, and then we will give you my predictions as well on the last conversation before the game. So don't miss anything. Make sure that you're subscribed. Would love it if you took a second to rate, review, and share the podcast. Have a great rest of your day. Go Bills, and I look forward to catching up with you again real soon.